Good morning, Mr. Governor. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
How do you feel being married to me for 8 years?
Sure, it's tough, but someone has to do it.
That's great. Well, we're up early because we're taking that one to school this morning. And we are going to try and fit in a quick breakfast before
My work meetings.
our work day. Let's see how it goes. What do you think it is?
I mean, I have some guesses because, the run-ins we've had with your delivery parcels.
And we live together. So this morning you caught me in the car, filling out your card, because I have no personal space in this whole house.
Let's see what it is.
Hi everyone, so as we promised, we're going to be answering some of the questions that you guys sent in, and this is how we're spending our anniversary evening. So, sipping on some tea. It's our 8th wedding anniversary, and this is part of your gift. This is the copper, because it's our copper wedding anniversary.
Yep.
Okay, so it's actually bronze. It's copper and tin together makes bronze. It's a bronze wedding anniversary. Yeah. Okay, so before we get to that, we've got our samosas and some amazing tasting sauces and relishes from Artisanal Spice, and in between we're going to be tasting those as well. So do you want to taste some of the pickles before we get started?
Oh, we can?
I actually want to taste the apple one. What do you think of that?
Yeah,
the apple achar. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to put a little bit. I actually love apple. So let's see how this goes. Do you want to taste from me?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me feed you since it's our anniversary. What do you think?
It's nice. It's like, I never have it as a pickle. It's almost something that I would have as a bite, almost as
It's like, it almost feels like mango and chili powder.
It's like a mango and chili powder type flavor. The texture is the same. Very nice. So I wouldn't have it as a
pickle with curry, but maybe like a side.
Yes. Or if you're watching, if I watch sport, I would say if you're watching sport, but if you're watching something else, maybe.
Okay, so let's try. There's another one that's Aubergine Relish. Let's try that one. I like the sweetness and the sour, because I love sweet and sour flavors. So let's try this. Okay, I'm going to try this first because I like. This I would eat with the curry. I might put too much of it in my plate and eat it like a curry, but
Yeah, it's almost like a curry. But
But
very
it's-
nice. But it's
it's
got
got the crunch.
pickle flavor.
very nice. Okay, so let's get to your questions. Let me have a sip of my tea because we're going to spill the tea. Get it?
Yeah, I get it. I'm trying not to roll my eyes.
You're supposed to laugh at my jokes.
After 8 years, it's hard to.
That's so rude. Okay, so we're gonna get straight to like the basic stuff. There's some questions that's like quite quick before we get to the more hectic, intense ones. So somebody
All
has
these
asked.
people have asked intense questions.
People who want to know. Okay, so somebody's asked how old we are. So I'm 32, but I'm turning 33 in 2 months.
Yeah.
And you are 35. You
It's
just,
1.5.
he just turned 35.
I don't look a day over 40.
So you turn 35 in November, so it's your 36th year technically. And somebody's also asked what is our age difference? So it's like 2.5 years?
Yeah, it's about 2.5, just under 3 years.
Okay, yeah, so that's our age difference. And then what do you do for a living? Well,
I'm
that's something
Rivana's photographer.
Yes, that.
That's
Definitely.
what I spend my days doing.
I also don't know what he does really. So when people ask what he does, I say he's a lawyer in the bank.
I'm a derivatives lawyer at a global markets trading floor of a bank.
I'll never remember that. So
So
thank
just think the Wolf of Wall Street, but in a very tame, PG way.
Because that's what the Wolf of Wall Street is. Okay, so let's see. Who asked who out? Who asked me out?
Yes.
You asked me on a date with
Yeah.
April Fools.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure if it was real.
So I asked you out, but you made all the advances.
So I was the chaser.
Definitely.
Okay, I'm going to admit to that. Somebody also asked how we met. I've done a whole blog piece on this. It's actually called An Ode to My Insta Husband on my blog. So if you click the link in my bio, you can find that entire story. Basically, I'm telling everybody how I was the chaser as well. Let's see. What date did you get married? And that's today.
14th April.
And 8 years ago. So 2013.
2013.
It's 2013. Okay, so let's see what else. Was it love at first sight? It was for me.
Yes and no, in that I was very attracted to you, but I've always felt like you should be wary and not allow yourself to fall in love until that you know someone for sure. So it's sort of like I knew this could be the one, but I was not going to say anything for a while.
Okay, so somebody also asked.
To the lawyer in me, I'm risk averse.
Somebody also asked, when did Chad know you were the one? That's interesting. I want to know that too. I don't know when you knew I was the one.
I think I don't know if it's a date specifically, but we were in theatre production together, so we had common interests, but we also were both academics, and we had similar family values. So I think quite early on, I was like,
We did take 5 months to say I love you.
Yeah, and I think the only thing that was sort of I had to take time with was when I met you, you were still in your final year of varsity. And you were still in your woo days, and I was...
My woo days? What do you mean by that?
It's varsity. So, and I was 2 years past my first year of varsity, so I just needed to see... Because when people leave varsity and then they start working, they become different. So, but I think that was it.
So how did you deal with my woo days?
I rolled my eyes. I didn't roll them, I rolled my eyes a lot. Especially to her and her friend Levine. I literally spent the first 5 months with her. I ended up getting an eye twitch. So I just did
this. Yes, that's why you got an eye twitch.
I just did this for 5 months.
Okay, so when did I see you for the first time? So that was actually Eastern Mosaic audition, right?
Eastern Mosaic auditions.
And
you came and sat next to me. I was sitting alone. And then you came and sat next to me. And I was so wary. I was like, why is this hot girl coming and sit next to me? She must be trying to throw me off my game.
So you thought I was trying to distract you?
And I went...
But you didn't even ask me for my number.
I went back and I told... My friends asked me how was the audition. I said, this really hot girl came and sat next to me and started talking to me. And they all were like, nah, she's trying to throw you off the game. There's no way. Why would a hot girl come and sit next to you?
Well, from my angle, I sat next to you because it was really intimidating when I walked in and you were sitting alone. So you looked more welcoming than all the little cliques that were sitting everywhere. Maybe I was trying to distract you. I don't know. Well, you still got the gig and I didn't. So my distraction didn't work.
Unagi.
Yeah. Okay. Does hubby change nappies? Do you want to answer that one?
A lot. A lot more than I should.
What does that even mean?
Because somehow I get stuck with every poo nappy on a weekend.
So I have this trick where I just say, change your nappy. And I don't tell him what's in it. So
But I have dropped the baby and said, I've opened nappies and literally
He's literally opened nappies and ran away screaming, saying, I can't do it. And there's my baby rolling in poop because he can't do it.
Yeah, because unfortunately, no matter what you're exposed to in life, you're just not used to other humans' excrement.
Oh, yes. What do you find annoying about each other? You go first and then I'll go. I have a list.
Oh, so many things. So many things. Actually, I'll do one for each year. Like, the main thing that I find annoying about Vivana is that she likes a clean house, but she doesn't like to clean. And she knows that I'm obsessive about cleaning, and so she just leaves it to me to do because she knows it affects my aura.
But when we got married, you knew I didn't clean, right? So
yeah, but I mean,
it was part of the deal. I cook, you clean.
Yeah, so that.
Though you've been cooking a lot more recently. Let's not talk about last night's dinner.
I experiment a lot. And then also I think, well, it's not annoying, but it's just sort of, we've taken different roles in life because we both were young and very carefree and sort of wild. I say wild, not like we went criminal wild, but just, you know. But then when we had kids, you stayed your young free spirit self, and I feel like I need to be the drill sergeant in the house, or there won't be. So
inside there was this drill sergeant that was just waiting to come out. Basically.
No, it's not that. I mean, there's no need to be a drill sergeant. There's no one to drill, and because you don't drill the children, I feel like I'm constantly I'm constantly the no guy. So I think that's the only. Let me think. I'm sure there's more.
Really?
I think about it, but no, I can't think of.
Your longest answer is going to be what you find annoying about me. What do you think I find annoying about you?
The cleaning thing.
Yes, but I think more annoying than anything else is how you procrastinate. Like that is my pet peeve. Like if I ask you to do something and you don't do it immediately.
It's like they say, if you ask me once, you've asked me once, you don't need to remind me every 6 months.
But if you take long to do it, what am I supposed every 6 months, really?
I'm more a person where I get into a zone where I'm suddenly doing
so
things
what
that
other
I need
people's
to
zones
do.
and what zones they are
So when I'm in my zone, I can do stuff. When I'm not in my zone, I just can't.
So what about the shelf in my cupboard that I asked you for like 2 weeks ago?
What about all the frames that I've put up?
Okay, I'll give you that. So I only find one thing annoying about you. If you have like
what's that?
list,
Procrastination.
Procrastination.
You don't find the cleaning thing
No,
annoying?
I like that. I like that about you.
Okay.
Yeah, because then the house is clean. Okay, so how did you tell your parents? Did you even tell your parents? You just sort of like showed me up at your house, kind of thing.
I didn't tell my parents, but we were in play and they would come to rehearsals, and then I was always disappearing and coming home very late at night, and so they were suspicious. And then they came to rehearsal once and they sat with their friends, Uncle Ashley and them at the back, and the four of them. So
you didn't know they were there.
Yeah, and the four of them sat, and I think our friend Chanel went and sat with them, and the four of them basically said, that's the reason.
Because we were sitting on the stairs and we were holding hands.
Yeah. But I'm not really the type of person to say, hi guys, this is my thing.
This is my thing.
Relationship-wise, it must happen organically. But I don't like to tell people stuff because I feel like if I tell someone, I'm almost asking for permission. I'd rather just say, this is the life I'm doing.
Okay.
Let you know.
On that note, we're going to be tasting our dip.
So I'm very excited about this because...
We always love samosas.
Samosa is my favorite thing.
Those are literally his favorite thing.
Samosa and puri pata. Favorite thing. I'll never say no. Doesn't matter what macros I'm tracking or what diet I'm on. I will not say no to a samosa.
Okay, so let's try. On that note, let's try the dipping sauce. So let's see, what does it say? I think it tells us what's in it as well. I know it's preservative free, which is great.
Yeah, it's like a mango
Ooh.
dipping sauce. It's mango. They say it's great on burgers and wraps and salads. It's a mango dipping sauce with sort of spices and black onion seed and mustard seed. So your normal sort of dipping.
So we're going to try this with a samosa.
Oh.
Well, actually, I'm going to try it first on its own. That's sweet as well. I like it.
It's quite sweet.
But it's got a kick. That's
Good.
nice.
Approve.
Approve.
of my approval. Not that they are waiting for my approval, but I approve.
And not just because it's free, because it's actually good.
And not just because it's on the lamb and samosa.
Also one of his favorites. Okay, so let's go with the next one. So look, I wrote everything down quite nicely. Where did you go on honeymoon, and was that your dream honeymoon?
Very
We actually
interesting.
talked about it today.
So, we
Where
went
did I want to go first?
Venice.
And I had 2 on my list.
I think Disney World.
Yes. And then he's like, no, you can't go to Disney World for your honeymoon.
You can't go to Disney World for your honeymoon.
I was like, you totally can. Who thinks we
So,
totally can?
so I said I'm going to choose the honeymoon place, and we went to Kerala in India.
So it's the south of India. So basically the Venice of the East.
It is Venice of the East.
We also did India a lot that year because we did wedding shopping in India as
We
well.
went to Mumbai in Feb, and then we went.
So we did north and south, much like us.
But
Which is the next question.
Kerala is amazing. But I still that's
Still one of our best.
So I was saying this is we've been to quite a few places now. I mean, we try to travel a lot
Barring pandemics.
without pandemics and obviously budget providing. But Kerala was awesome because we saw a side of India that we hadn't seen before, which was the proper luxury side. And
Also, when we went for our wedding, we were staying on a budget, so.
it,
We were just going there to sleep.
She made me save money by staying in.
A very nice place. It had cable TV.
I took my mother and for our first trip to India, and we stayed in this place that was just.
It was really clean.
It was clean.
Yeah, that's all that matters. And there was cable TV. It
Yeah.
had an air conditioner.
And had an
But
air
if something in India doesn't have air
There's no air
conditioner,
conditioner in India, then
then you did.
yeah, you did.
basically.
So yeah, it was.
I also love the houseboat experience, even though I was like motion sick for most of it.
So yeah, in Kerala, the you see a side of India. People underestimate what an amazing tourism division India has. How
It's
they
not
treat
just
people.
shopping.
Yeah, how they treat people, the experiences that they can curate for you, and then obviously it was just amazing for us because it was our when it's your honeymoon, everyone is hell-bent on making things special for
And
you.
especially
So-
because I had mehendi all the way up my hands and all the way up my legs, so everyone could see I was a new bride.
yeah, so you could see with
And
the
the cakes were really, so every hotel we went to gave us a little like happy wedding cake kind of thing, and the cakes were just like so airy and delicious, like sponge cakes.
yeah, absolutely.
So delicious.
I'm a huge fan of South Indian food.
Oh
and
yes, I was just gonna say, so wherever I go, I generally order the same stuff. So I must say, I love South African Indian food, but when I go to India, after a
too
while,
rich,
it
too
gets,
rich for you.
I
But
get
the South
tired.
Indian food is not like that. Especially
There was
in
one, I think it was bindi that we ate the one day that was really, really delicious.
yeah.
On the houseboat.
On the houseboat. And so
And their fresh salads was really nice as well.
yeah. So in Kerala we did a few places. We did Cochin, we did Alleppey on the houseboat. We did Kumarkam, and then we did Trivandrum, or Trivandrum.
Trivandrum.
And yeah, every place was different because one was on the seaside, on the beach. One was on the houseboat. One was on the backwaters.
They visited castles and temples and
Yeah, it was beautiful.
That's like
Because South India, especially Kerala, has this very rich Hindu, Christian, very Catholic, and Muslim influences. So
and
when
what
you
about Jew Street?
yeah, so
That was also-
yeah, so in Kerala, you've got there were a lot of Jews from the 1970s.
So the architecture is like amazing.
Absolutely, a lot of them moved back to Israel, but we went to a synagogue in Kerala that was absolutely beautiful, blue and white synagogue. And then we spent 2 days, or 3 nights in Chennai.
That was for shopping.
That was for shopping and for me to sort of see where.
People come here.
Yeah, I mean, my family comes from Coimbatore, but we went to Chennai.
Yeah.
And that was great. We almost went to an IPL match with Chennai Super Kings.
The budgets were running dry at that point.
And you also said it's not.
It's our honeymoon. Oh yes, it was more that. It was
Yeah.
our honeymoon. I'm not going to watch
Yeah.
cricket on my honeymoon.
Yeah, so that was it. But definitely the honeymoon was amazing because of how special. You're carefree. You don't have
very
kids.
soon after that, we fell pregnant.
Yeah. So you don't have kids, and so now we go on holidays. But whenever you're on holiday, you're either phoning and worried about how the kids are, or you have the kids with you, and so you're not at liberty to to miss a lunch if you'd rather do a tour than stop for lunch, or so you don't have those
your routine,
those luxuries, and we're very afraid to sleep past a certain time because we know we have to be up.
We don't want to stay up late.
Yeah.
So that's why we used to enjoy those holidays on our own. Okay, so this might be a personal question, so feel free not to answer it. Did you have any issues when you got married because you are Hindi and your husband was Tamil?
Yes. But what matters is that we no longer have those issues. Yes, we had issues.
And I think when we met...
Which it might,
Actually, I didn't answer about how I told my parents. Because I basically didn't tell my parents either. I was just sort of like, this is Chad. And he came to my house with like a eyebrow ring and tattoos and
a mohawk. Yeah.
I don't know about the impression he created, but
and I was a radio DJ at the time and a TV presenter, not a lawyer, so they were very wary of me.
Apprehensive. That's apprehensive.
However, I think that what we've learned is that as the younger generation, it's almost our duty to sort of educate the older generation. So it's not that you only know your own points of reference, and so
people are in their comfort zones.
Yeah, and so when you can show people that
this can work,
and that their way of thinking may not be relevant in today's day and age, and you can show them why, then I think they're happy to take the hint from the kids. So I think that's what we learned. It wasn't, we had issues. We overcame the issues by just being ourselves and showing them that.
I think we also, from the very outset, decided what was important. Like, I shared on my Instagram page this week our wedding and snippets of our wedding, and we basically had an amalgamated wedding, really. We mostly had a Tamil ceremony, but it was also...
We had a Tamil ceremony, but we asked your parents what are the most important things in a Hindi ceremony that they would want. Because we understand that they raised their child and that there were certain things that they wanted. So we said, what are the things that you want? What are the things that you would...
And they wanted to be like, but you didn't mind because you got gifts.
and also because it didn't make a difference, right? So you learn to be less territorial when you understand why. So as I was saying, you learn to be less territorial when you understand why people want things. And we try to understand where they're coming from. We also did a great thing where we sat down with our priest and explained to him our issue, and he sat with the parents and explained to them how similar
the same
everything is, but just dressed differently because of different cultures. And we spoke about the concepts of what was important, what are we trying to achieve, and then you find middle ground from there.
Okay, so there's a few questions on, do you do day night, how do you keep the passion alive, how do you find time for each other? So I think those sort of like go on top of each other. So do you want to go first on that one? From your point of view. We don't actually do date night. We used to, obviously pre-COVID, we used to do one trip every year, which we looked forward to, obviously. That was just us. 5 or 7 days.
If we were lucky, 2 trips. But we both understand that the kids are young only for a certain amount of time.
For sure.
And so that there will very quickly come a time when we'll have a lot more freedom.
They're going to leave us.
Yeah. They will hopefully leave us. So there's that. But we do simple things like this is our time.
So we keep a strict routine with the girls in the week as well. So we get them to bed by a certain time, and even if it's just binge watching Netflix, we each take a turn to make tea for each other. So we spend that quality time together.
Then we go out for every Valentine's, every anniversary, and for our birthdays, generally just the 2 of us. So we do stuff with the kids, or we do like a dinner.
So special occasions are important.
Always. when she knows it's a Valentine's for
She's
anniversary.
like, oh no,
She
you're
know-
gonna go out.
And we occasionally do like a weekend away with just two of us. We also, pre-COVID, we spend a lot of time with our friends out at night. So we get the nanny to stay over and
Other
go out with
couples.
our friends, with other couples. And I think that's just sort of what we do. Like you said, the overseas trips really help because then you feel young again. It's just us. But you know, it can't happen all the time. And you know, I mean, Miles 6, and she's very sufficient, and Sharia will be sufficient in like 2 years, and then we'll be fine. So I think it's one of those.
It's a phase, it's a stage, it's a season.
And when you know there's an end in sight, then you're not sitting thinking, when will I ever have personal time? You know the time will come.
And I think there's like a fine line between finding time and like making time, because sometimes you have to make time, you know, to actually just sit together or talk about our day.
And then sometimes if we feel like we haven't made time for each other, it's been a while, then we'll say, right, we need to go for dinner or we need to go out. So I think self-check. We self-check a lot.
And I think it's also important to just communicate, which we're getting better at, I think. Somebody asked, what do you fight about?
I fight about cleaning a lot. Every weekend
Back to the cleaning again.
when we don't have any help and the house is not clean. I think the only thing we actually fight, in my mind, the only thing we actually fight about is
Not love languages, because we have different love languages.
yeah, we have different love languages.
And I'm like, I don't want to have to tell you how to love me. I need you to know. And he's
But-
like, but how will I know if you don't tell me?
And I think that's
That's another thing I find annoying about you. You're chewing. You chew really loudly.
so there's a break in transmission so that she
I
can
could
make
clear
space
some
on the
space
phone.
on my phone.
And I may have mapped this Musa.
It's not a bad thing.
So what I was saying was that we're talking about what couples fight about, and I was saying that I think all couples have episodes or periods of like passion and everything going well, and then periods of complacency because life is long,
Life is long.
and
Everyone says life's too short. You're saying life's long.
life's long, and you get into a rhythm and you start getting a bit too comfortable, and then I think it's the job of the other person in the couple to say, listen, what's going on? Getting a bit complacent, and I think it's also juvenile of us to think that it won't happen. You cannot be on
High all the time.
a trajectory of just constant
No one's always on a high.
passion. Absolutely. So I think that's when we argue, it's sometimes that. So it's been like a while since you've done this, or why don't you do this, or it's mostly you. I'm very chill,
You're easy.
very chill person. But I think it's that ability to keep each other in check. So we argue about that. I don't think we have much else to argue about, thankfully. Sometimes we argue about our different parenting styles. Or not, I'm not so sure if it's an argument per se or just us. We have very different ways, and then sometimes, you want to say, well, then you do it. You do all the parenting. Yeah.
Okay. How do you feel about me being a strong social media presence? How does that make you feel? Interesting question. Really?
It's so annoying because I have to take the photos. I'm like, you can be the biggest social media person that you want to and put whatever aspect of your life out there. I really am, don't I? But when you say to me, can you just take a photo quickly, please, to me?
And so many people always compliment and say, oh, you're so lucky, Chad. You take such nice pictures of you. You're such a nice
still
husband. Now
do
you
it.
don't know the truth.
I still do it.
Well, I've also learned to be really good at my ring light.
Yeah.
So I don't ask you anymore as much.
Yeah, so no, I think it's great, but the difficult part is that wherever we go and whatever we're doing, you have to document. And so basically
It's also because I feel like...
But that's what a social media person is, right?
No, but not even just that. I think I'm just obsessed with pictures and
Yes,
documenting memories in general. So it's not just for social media.
true,
Most of the
but-
time I like to just make videos and
But it's
remember stuff.
yes.
He
but
appreciates it afterwards.
I do, but it often feels like we get somewhere and we just get there and just go, this is beautiful. I must take a picture. And you're gonna go, okay, sometimes I mean, photography is my hobby, but
You
I
have to
hide.
take your camera out.
I
to
hide my
gallery.
camera because I'm just like,
And it takes forever to edit my pictures, so I never let him take his camera.
yeah. Because I like to just take photos when the moment's right and the framing is right, and then
The
keep
light
the
is
photo
right.
and the light's right.
Yeah.
But you need to take a picture wherever
Yeah.
we go.
I just want to make sure I didn't miss any.
Is that the end of the part?
I think so. I just want to make sure I didn't miss any. But you can tell us what you love about me. I mean, that's a story. I mean, that's a question that I have. No?
No, I'm not going to fall into that trap here.
Why? Oh, I missed like a whole lot. What's the best part and the most difficult part of marriage?
I think that the most difficult part of marriage is having children, if you have children.
Really?
Yes, because it puts. So when you date and when you in a relationship.
Our children don't watch this. At
No,
some
I
point.
don't mean I don't like having children. I'm saying you asked what is the most difficult part, because it adds an element that you haven't actually bargained for. You think
It can sometimes put strain on the marriage.
no, it's not about putting strain. It's anyone who has kids that they are raising will know that it's not easy because, like we were talking about, you've got to find time for. So all the things that come naturally to a young couple start taking a backseat because there's a new responsibility, which is obviously the predominant responsibility. So I think that it's difficult because you know that 20 years from now you still want to remain the young in love couple, but you also have these other responsibilities of raising children and investing all your time and effort in them, and so you've got to balance that. And that's, I think, I mean, everything else for us, I think, works really easily. So the way in which we manage our household and manage our dual incomes and our responsibilities, the way we share those, we've been in a rhythm always. We sort of know those things. And we also are very different people, and we allow each other to be those different people. So I don't think any of that stuff is difficult. The best part of marriage, and I feel like I'm answering all the questions, but the best part of marriage is having someone with you if you have to go into anaphylactic shock.
So the companionship, because I was going to say the companionship. Like,
No, definitely. So
obviously, you're the first person I want to tell anything to.
Absolutely, and it's having someone to make plans with. For example,
Somebody to warm my feet on.
The few times that we've been on overseas holidays without each other and waiting for the other person to arrive.
You feel a bit lost almost, like will you?
Not even. I think I can still remember myself and being able to enjoy things on my own. But you find yourself constantly going, "Oh, I wish she was here. She would love this. Or this would be perfect for her." Because you realize actually that's what life's about: experiencing things and sharing those experiences. So marriage is nice because then I've got my person to share my experiences with. So I'm not constantly looking for that. And then really, it's if you get sick, there's someone who actually loves you and wants you. And you're not just sitting alone in a room. Yeah, for me.
Yeah. So I think the most difficult part of marriage, and I don't think it's having children, but I think it's finding your rhythm in the beginning. It's like when you first come together and you first start living together.
Really? Okay.
Just purely because I don't think it was difficult for us, but I feel like and for me, it was like a mind shift to becoming a wife. Like there is still that expectation sometimes of like, what's for dinner? And even though I know I make dinner, it's almost like, oh my God, this is my responsibility every day for the rest of my life. So it's like that mind shift of going from like a single person, not having to worry about these things and somebody always cooking and now you're like the woman of the house, if that makes sense. Like now it's like my responsibility, like I'm the mother, I'm the woman of the house. So I think that mind shift and getting into that rhythm in the beginning was the hardest part for me. But I think the best part is definitely the companionship. Like you said, when going on trips and stuff on your own, I do feel a sense of like I said, lost, but it's almost like I wish you were there, to experience it, like you said, having someone to experience stuff with.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that. Yeah, I haven't needed to be rushed to hospital. Besides when we were in labor for Sharia.
Yeah, but I mean, that's still... That's
You rushed
kind-
me to hospital.
Yeah, but that's kind of the point, right?
Yeah, so I think we covered everything. There was one more question that I think we almost covered. I just want to make sure we did. Now I'm putting my code into your phone. Do you take time out to spend time alone together? So we kind of answered that, but do we actually take time out? Yes, we do, right? So, for example, today was our anniversary, and even though we had to have a super early morning to get our breakfast done, we made sure we just spent that time together.
What's actually an interesting question would be, which I don't know why you didn't ask. Do we take time out alone for ourselves?
We do. I do. You don't,
I don't.
actually. You don't. You really don't.
I should, but I don't.
Why don't you?
Because I work from home, so I can't go anywhere. There's nowhere to go to. And
Well,
COVID.
you go for extra long, like when you have a haircut, you get a massage.
Yeah.
I guess that could be counted.
Really?
I mean, I do like girls' breakfasts and massages with my sister, and I spend time with my sister a lot, actually.
Yeah, so I think that's something I actually want to do a bit more of now. I think as the kids are getting a bit bigger, I feel like
Oh,
more
so
boys' weekends.
you don't want to spend time with me then? So while I'm reeling from the fact that he wants to spend less time with me and basically doesn't love me anymore,
I don't know, what do you want me to say here? What are you looking for here? I just said we need to, yeah, it's difficult to find time for yourself because you already have to share time with the kids and as a couple time. But I think it's important. Something we actually need to work on.
of you having more of your own time.
Yeah.
So on that note, you're going to taste the last one because you're a chili fan and I'm not. So this is called Danny's Chili Pickle #1. So this is one of the, oh, this smells quite potent. So maybe I'll taste it a little bit. You love chili, so.
I do.
What do you have samosas left and I don't?
Oh, that's good.
I'm gonna taste a little bit of my last crumb of samosa.
It's hot.
Ooh,
It's got a nice flavor. That's my favorite.
is that your favorite? I think the dipping sauce is my favorite. I like the dipping sauce, but I also like the aubergine. Also very nice.
No, I think the chili for me.
Chili for you. Well, there you have it. We both have our favorites. And as usual, we differ in opinion.
You say, different people who would have thought.
But thank you for joining us. Thank you also for sending in all the questions. And if you've stuck around this long, you must really like us. So thank you for watching. And I don't think we'll be doing this anytime soon because I had to convince him to actually do this. So
But it was fun.
it's fun. Yeah. Do you want to watch series now?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for this to end so I can put the TV on.
But thank you so much, and till next time, happy anniversary.
Oh,
This is the part where you kiss me.
no, I was going to say, we're not saying don't forget to like and subscribe.
Oh yes, of course. You're like your daughter now. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel.
Like and subscribe.